Welcome to Natural Powers if you're new, and welcome back if you're rejoining us here. We are going to get into how this dimension works. So, an introduction, we are considered in third dimension, or to be in the third dimension, or to be a third dimensional species at the moment, I guess, if that makes sense. This can get confusing, and we can go into a great amount of detail because we'll be getting into physics or even quantum physics. So, just for this introduction, we are in 3D, meaning that this world is mostly based on duality, kind of based on 2D, I guess you could say. It's based on everything having two sides. So everybody has a dark side and a light side. Everybody can be positive or negative. Everybody can react positively or negatively. Everything can be cold or hot, light or dark. There are two sides to everything. And basically, to ascend or to become awake or to gain control over your third dimensional self would be to be able to keep yourself in a positive state, or what's also called a high frequency, or to raise your vibration. If you're into spirituality, you've probably already heard of some of these terms, but we're going to explore what that means as far as science and physics. So, it would mean choosing to be of a positive frequency or to have a high vibration no matter what is going on around you. And a lot of times that means that when something negative does come up, that you understand it enough to not let it affect you. I like to refer it to as just observing that thing rather than letting it change your frequency or your vibration or feeling it. Even if you're an empath, you don't have to feel it, and you should have control over what you let in or what you let affect you, even if you're observing it for like psychic reading. Even if you're observing something negative, it doesn't mean you have to let it lower your own vibe or your own frequency. It's kind of like always allowing love in, or always allowing love to be your guide. So we're going to get into more of that. What physics basically is a study of vibration and frequency, that everything is energy, and that's going to lead us into more of these details, that everything is energy, and the way we perceive things is really based on their vibration or frequency, which is kind of the same thing. So we feel like we're in a 3D world, we feel like we can feel things, but that's actually the frequency that they're vibrating at that makes them feel solid to our mind or to our consciousness. And that is getting really deep into it, but yes, everything that you perceive is just the frequency that it's at and your perception of it. So even though something feels solid, you're really hallucinating your conscious reality. Now we're gonna step into a little more simple things. That's probably as far as we'll go on that technical explanation. In one of my previous videos, which I'll link below, I explained why we're mostly water and how that benefits us. And that it conducts our soul, or it makes us able to conduct electricity. Well, we're also an antenna. We are receiving and transmitting information via energy all the time. When you hear of aura and energy and how things can influence you, or just walking by somebody, especially if you're an empath, you might even pick up information about them or a feeling about them or the emotions that are going on with them right now. You could pick up on their frequency, or some people can even see energy. And there is an emotional scale for this. So I'm going to introduce you guys to this, and we'll talk about it more in an empath video. But this is the emotional scale. Things that are positive and that are just great. These are your goals. At the top of the scale is just to be able to stay up there as high as you can. So even though you may see or perceive other frequencies, you would not let them affect your own. With things negative and things that you're working on or you need to let go of, being lower on the scale. So you just want to climb your way up, but that doesn't mean that it's going to, once you get up there and you feel great, you're going to stay there. Frequency is like a wave, like most energy. There's going to be ups and downs. So you just want to start to recognize your ups and downs, pull yourself up from your downs, learn how to observe your lows rather than react to them, and we'll go into more of how to keep your vibe high in our empath video. So, overcoming the third dimension or mastering this dimension would be a matter of being able to keep your vibe high. Again, kind of being able to observe rather than react, being able to perceive is different than absorbing or letting that information affect yourself. This is part of why grounding is really important. Grounding yourself on the earth allows you to absorb negative ions, which can help us find balance. You can also find grounding in things like gemstones. And while we're talking about some physics basics, sometimes there are videos or information about gemstones being debunked. Do they really help us? And sometimes they make it sound like they don't. But when we're talking about frequency and vibration and things that can help us, such as gemstones, we're looking at something that's coming from a molecular level. And some of this stuff is just now barely being measured by science, such as our own electromagnetic field. Although we've been measuring things like the Earth's magnetic field or Schumann resonance for a very long time. And if you're lucky enough to be here right now, to be alive and conscious right now, we're about to go through a huge shift as this vibration raises. There will be waves and groups of people waking up, realizing that a lot of things has been going on without our conscious knowledge, and a lot of that is going to be coming up to the surface. Some of it, like the negative things, coming up to being dealt with or purged, and you might experience that in your own life if you're waking up, if you're here to help, if you're here to bring in that vibration, if you're a starseed or a light worker, you're going to notice that you're going to feel more and more of this. It's going to be easier to connect to these things no matter what, but the ride is going to be smoother the more you can follow some of the ways that you raise your vibe. So that's some of the reasons that you would want to raise your vibe. Now is a great time to do so, because if you don't, you could be in for a very rocky ride. Everybody is going to be feeling more, sensing more, perceiving more as the vibration raises. So I'm going to leave some beautiful resources, videos, and research, really. I love science and I love research, so I'm going to leave some beautiful talks on these subjects in the description below for you guys. And next time we'll get into what it means to be an empath, what our strengths are, and how to master our emotions. So I hope I see you there. Thank you for joining me on this introduction of how this dimension works. Namaste.